Yeah, so we made it into Around the Bend Hostel, and it's great. Bumped into a couple of people we know from the trail earlier on. It's still only early, it's just before 10, so the rooms aren't ready yet, so we're just hanging out, chilling out until they are. Wet this morning, coming down off, down into Unicoi Gap, I think I said that already. So a good day to be taken off. Legs still really stiff and sore, so be a good opportunity to rest it today and have a think about what we do from here.
Okay, that's everybody, right?
That's it. I think that's good.
Okay, cool. Let's see if we got anybody up from the jet ski. Yeah.
Can we get a picture of everybody?
Hello. So I'm in Hiawassee, North Georgia. We have had a couple of days off. I've been resting my leg. It's pretty sore, much better today. Nice place we're staying, around the bend. Comfortable, and we bumped into, it's really fortuitous, Ken and Linda were there, and the Kiwi couple, Greg and Vicky, came in as well. We actually saw them at Unicoi Gap, and they made a quick decision to slack pack that day and stay around the bend that night. So it's really good. There's some video I put on. We went out for dinner last night at a place called the Hiawassee Brew, which was really good. Burger, craft beers and stuff, so that was really nice. We had a really easy day today. We've come into Hiawassee, which is where I am now. I'll film a little bit in a minute. To resupply, to go to, there's a grocery store, Ingalls, and that's right opposite an Outfitters called Trailful, so between those two places, absolutely brilliant. You can get your trail meals, you can get other sort of, bits and pieces, wet wipes and all that sort of thing that you might need in the Ingalls, which is sort of cheaper than going to an Outfitters. We also got lunch in the Ingalls and sat in their sort of front part where there's some seating to enjoy that. We've just been over to the Outfitters, got some trail meals, and yeah, so the plan is, well, we're going to go back to the hostel in a minute. We're waiting for someone to pick us up. Gracie, if in future that's useful to you. Gracie does runs from around the bend into town or vice versa for $5 a head, which, let me tell you, is half the price we've found of everybody else doing it. It's really, really reasonable because it's sort of 15-20 minutes each way. And so yeah, we're going to head back to the hostel in a wee minute, and then the plan is, I think we're going to come back in for dinner tonight somewhere, and then Adam and I have decided we will go back to Unicoi Gap. We're feeling fitter. He had a little bit of an issue with his knee, but he's feeling better as well. So the plan is to go back to Unicoi Gap. We were thinking about missing that section out between Unicoi and Dix Creek and carrying on, but we've had a look at the dates and the distances, and we think we can do it. And our plan is to go from Unicoi. There's a shelter at about mile 12 or something, but just take sort of one night's worth of food, one day's worth of food, and then get to Dix Creek Gap, pick up a resupply, if you like, which we will have left at Around the Bend, hopefully, if they'll let us do that. That would be Monday, and then carry on to the next shelter. So that would be a sort of 9-mile day, something like that, split in two, and then carry on from there. And so from Dix Creek to Winding Stair Gap, which is where I've probably got to get off, is 40 trail miles. So without killing ourselves, we're planning to do that over sort of 4 days. So that's the plan at the moment, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Four items in
You
the
can't
bag.
see him. He's behind your head.
Do we turn off?
This bag doesn't open up.
Okay, so I'll just round off this video for the last couple of days off in Hiawassee. So we have a new plan, which is, well, it's the same for Adam and I, to go back to Unicoi and keep hiking. Ken, who you've seen in the video, his wife Linda is finishing, well, she's finished the trail, she was only on for a week. Their daughter is bringing some stuff out, some new gear and stuff out for Ken tomorrow morning, which will be Sunday morning. And obviously he wants to wait to see her, but the idea is that Adam and I are going to hike on to Deep Gap Shelter from Unicoi, which is I think around about 13 miles. Ken's going to start later because he's seeing his daughter, but hopefully will meet us at Deep Gap Shelter. And the plan is for the three of us then to hike on to Franklin. Which would be awesome, and if things work out, I could see Adam and Ken hiking on together. We might also, in the next few days, maybe catch up with Lisa from Canada, who I've mentioned before. She hasn't stopped in at Hiawassee, she's carried on going, and we know that she's now, in fact, she's at Deep Gap Shelter tonight, so she's sort of a day ahead of us. But we may catch her up. Maybe not before Franklin, but we might catch her at Franklin in a few days' time. So that's a bit of a rough plan. It's about 9 o'clock now, so we're going to bed very shortly, and we'll be off 8 o'clock tomorrow morning back to Unicoi Gap. Weather forecast, clouds are high tonight. You might have seen in the videos we were coming back in the pickup from town. There's transpiration coming off the trees, but they're not clouds. The actual cloud base looks like it's risen quite a bit. Now that might only be good for the next 12 hours or so in the mountains, but Greg reckons he's seen a forecast that says it might not be too bad for the next couple of days. Beyond that, well, 2 days' time we'll be north of here. Mountain weather forecast, it's hard to know what's going to happen. I think we're going to get wet at some point over the next week. It's bound to happen, so we'll just have to deal with that. Bears from here north around Standing Indian Mountain are a problem. The shelter, Standing Indian Mountain shelter, has been closed. We're not actually sure whether it is closed at the moment, but there's been some bear activity up there, a lot of bear activity caused, inevitably by people leaving food around and basically not willfully encouraging them, but leaving food around, and the bears do what bears do. But of course that can cause issues. So we'll see. It causes some complexities because the camping options are a little bit limited, and it might be one of these situations where you're forced to do either a very large mileage or very small mileage, and that could be difficult with what we're trying to achieve now that deadlines are coming into play. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it in a couple of days' time. Okay, speak to you later.